Welcome back to the Ed Show. The battleground story tonight. Congress isn't working. They're off on recess like they always are this time of year. And even when they come back for just a few weeks in September, then they won't be trying to pass any major legislation, and they're admitting that. This just shows how out of touch Washington lawmakers really are. Could you imagine telling your boss, you don't think you're really going to get anything done until November? People who don't have a job can't wait a couple of months. People who don't have a home can't wait a couple of months. Washington politicians say they know that we're in an economic crisis, but they don't stay in town to do anything about it. They need to start acting like it's an emergency and get their butts back to Washington, take a week off, and then get back. You don't need the whole month. This is why Congress has a whopping 21% approval rating in the latest NBC News Wall Street Journal poll. Joining me now is Florida Congressman Alan Grayson. Congressman, good to have you with us tonight. I think it's easy to see the frustration in the numbers of the American people. What should the Congress do? I mean, all these bills that you guys have passed over in the House, what should the Senate do? And does the circumstances that this country face right now call for different measures in the Congress? What do you think?
Well, look, you identified the problem perfectly. In the House, we've passed over 300 bills that the Senate hasn't even taken up. And I took the trouble this week of looking to identify the bills that the Senate has acted on that the House hasn't taken up. There's only a couple of dozen of them, and they have to do mostly with renaming post offices. So this is where we are. The House is getting its work done. The Senate's not getting its work done. And why? Because the Republicans in the Senate are acting as a bloc to prevent anybody from getting any work done. That's the problem from start to finish. The House can be back in session for every day from now until the end of time. It doesn't make any difference if the Republicans in the Senate are blocking everything that they can. At this point, if you put a cure for cancer up in the Senate, it would get filibustered.
We really now stand the chance, the American taxpayer, of the Congress doing nothing until January. Is that correct?
No, actually, we're going to be back in session for several weeks in September regardless, but the fact remains that if the Republicans consistently use the filibuster rule in order to prevent any progress on anything in the Senate, it doesn't matter whether the House is in session or not.
Congressman, I got to ask you about this recent flap that you've got with Politico. Do you think Politico, the D.C. news outlet, the Inside the Beltway, Insider Politico news organization, they've got professional people that work for them. There's no question about that. People that are award-winning and have been in this business for a long, long time. And they are a real revered source by many political insiders. Do you think they soften their coverage based on their sponsors?
Yes, I do. And not only that, I think that the fact that they were founded by Reaganites who felt that coverage elsewhere in Washington wasn't slanted enough is indicative of their own philosophy. I mean, the argument of Politico seems to be, are we actually bought out by our advertisers or we just give it to them for free?
Now, they're corporate advertisers, obviously, well, a lot of them seem Republican. But do you think that Politico is too hard on Democrats because of their sponsors and go soft on the Republicans?
Yes, and Politico is part of the permanent government that was established under the Bush administration. These are the same people, these ideologues, these right-wing ideologues who have been populating the government in the bureaucracy now for a decade. Who met the political litmus test of the Bush administration. They're still there. They're in the think tanks. They're in these House organs like Politico, and they're in the bureaucracy. They are the permanent government, and we've done nothing so far to clean them out.
Do you think they're a credible news source?
No, I don't. I think that they're a rag. We use them in my office to wrap fish.
Congressman Alan Grayson, that pretty much says it all. Great to have you with us tonight. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Ed.
Now let's get some rapid fire.